Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, Columbine High School in Colorado, Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut, the First Baptist Church of Texas. Have any of you heard of any of these locations?
Yes.
I'm going to argue 3 loopholes in gun laws that should be closed. The first loophole pertains to background checks. The second loophole pertains to automatic weapons, and the third loophole pertains to modification kits. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, a freedom that should not be taken away as long as gun owners, dealers, and collectors follow state and federal laws if they wish to possess a firearm or run a business selling guns. The issues arise when these laws and regulations are not followed by the individual states and loopholes are found and utilized. Per federal law, under the Brady Handgun Violence Protection Act, you cannot have or own a gun if you have ever been convicted of a crime punishable by more than 1 year in prison, are addicted to or illegally use any controlled substance, have been ruled mentally defective by a court, or have been committed to a mental institution, received a dishonorable discharge from any of the U.S. Armed Forces, or have a court restraining order that involved your intimate partner, your child or children, or were ever convicted of domestic violence. The first loophole in gun laws pertains to background checks. Current law requires licensed retailers to see a buyer's ID and requires the buyer to complete a lengthy firearms transaction record, which is supposed to certify that the buyer is purchasing the gun for themselves and that they are not prohibited from owning a gun. Licensed retailers must also submit background checks and keep records of all gun sales. First loophole. Unlicensed sellers are people who sell guns but do not earn their livelihood from firearm sales, which basically means they sell from their personal collection and they don't earn a profit. These sellers do not have to conduct background checks, and their intention do not have to provide background checks. Unlicensed sellers can sell guns at gun shows, out of their homes, and even on the internet. Loophole. In some states, gun dealers who do perform background checks, after 3 days, they can complete the sale, even if the background check is not complete. Zena Houghton got a restraining order against her husband for domestic abuse. By law, this made him ineligible to have or buy a handgun. He went, found a loophole, and purchased a gun from a seller on the internet. He went to his wife's place of business, killed her and 2 of her co-workers. Devin Kelly was convicted of domestic violence and was dishonorably discharged from the U.S. Air Force, and he was still able to purchase a gun due to a failure in the process by the military, who was supposed to provide this information to the FBI. Robert Spitzer, a professor at the State University of New York, said, if Kelly had been convicted of a domestic-related crime in a civilian court, his information would have been provided to the FBI. Another loophole pertains to gun laws. He killed 26 people in Texas. Another loophole in gun laws pertains to automatic weapons. In 1986, Congress passed Firearms Protection Act, which bans fully automatic weapons. Loophole. If a fully automatic weapon was made before 1986, its grandfathered in is considered legal. This loophole goes to my next loophole, which pertains to modification kits. A bump stock, which can be purchased online for $99, can modify a semi-automatic gun into a fully automatic gun by pretty much just attaching to the base of the gun. This allows the entire magazine to be unloaded without pause. Pretty much, it increases the rate of fire from a dozen rounds per minute to 100 rounds per minute. Loophole. The modification means the semi-automatic that is used is still legal, as is the modification tool, but it transforms a legal semi-automatic gun into an illegal fully automatic gun. Senator Dianne Feinstein proposed a bill banning bump stocks and similar modifications after the mass shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. There was never even a vote in Congress. Stephen Paddock, responsible for the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history in Las Vegas, had 24 weapons, and 12 were semi-automatic, which had bump stocks attached to them. He killed 50 people on that day and injured more than 500. The Second Amendment was aimed at protecting one's person and property by giving the right to bear arms. But this was created well before automatic weapons or modification kits were even a thought. These loopholes must be closed by Congress to minimize these senseless acts of gun violence in cases that could have possibly been avoided.